and good day. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from eTurboNews, and this is a breaking news update. For more news updates and shows, please go to youtube.com/travel news group. youtube.com/travel news group. Here's our update.
Americans warned not to travel to Belarus. The U.S. government's ability to provide routine or emergency services to U.S. citizens in Belarus is already severely limited due to Belarusian government limitations on U.S. embassy staffing. After Washington ordered the evacuation of staffers' families from U.S. Embassy in Minsk, U.S. citizens are being advised not to visit Belarus, due to threats of being deliberately targeted by local law enforcement and escalating Russian military presence in the country. U.S. Department of State advised Americans that the U.S. government's ability to provide routine or emergency services to U.S. citizens in Belarus is already severely limited due to Belarusian government limitations on U.S. embassy staffing. In the notice published online, the U.S. State Department warns, do not travel to Belarus due to the arbitrary enforcement of laws, the risk of detention, and unusual and concerning Russian military buildup along Belarus border with Ukraine. Reconsider travel due to COVID-19 and related entry restrictions. Washington also ordered the withdrawal of the families of diplomats in the country, 1 week after making a similar decision regarding its mission in Ukraine. Responding to the news of the evacuation from Belarus, a spokesman for the Belarusian Foreign Ministry insisted that his country is far safer and more hospitable than the U.S. Belarusian dictator Lukashenko and his henchmen have come under fire from international observers after a brutal crackdown on the opposition following mass street protests that began in the wake of the rigged presidential election in 2020. Police have arrested hundreds of protesters, who were tortured and severely beaten in Belarusian Gestapo-like prisons and targeted the family members of those who left the country due to fears of torture and possible death. On January 23, the State Department announced it was evacuating some staffers' families from Kiev, writing, "There are reports Russia is planning significant military action against Ukraine." Washington had previously put into place a do not travel advisory for Ukraine, citing COVID and increased threats from Russia. The U.S. also advises Americans not to travel to Russia, due to ongoing tension along the border with Ukraine, the potential for harassment against U.S. citizens, the embassy's limited ability to assist U.S. citizens in Russia, COVID-19 and related entry restrictions, terrorism, harassment by Russian government security officials, and the arbitrary enforcement of local law.
Thank you for listening to our news update. There's more on youtube.com/travel news group, or you can read us, of course, in going to our news portal at eTurboNews.com or travelnews.online.